want to note that the issue of GMO foods, controversial as it may be, we have in fact passed resolutions at both the Association of Vancouver Island and Coastal Communities calling on the provincial government to legislate the prohibition of importing, exporting, and growing plants and seeds containing genetically engineered DNA. That resolution goes on to cover some other areas. And we've passed it at the Union of BC Municipalities to ask the British Columbia government for the same thing. It's interesting to note the response from the Provincial Ministry of Agriculture to that resolution. In part, they say declaring regions or all of BC to be GE-free with respect to plant and animal species would facilitate organic production, provide a refuge for non-GE seed living banks, and enable production of other GE-free products sought by export and domestic markets. Now, in fairness, they go on to say that regulation rests with the federal government, and to a certain extent they leave it there. But I think the highlighted part where they talk about the impact on organic production is something that's really significant for our area. We have a growing agricultural community, and organics is a significant part of that. And in fact, the organic producers are growing considerably faster than the agricultural sector as a whole. So I think that what we're talking about here may in fact only be symbolic, but in my view, having some type of a policy of this nature would in fact support both our organic producers and those in the community who have concerns about the lack of labeling and the lack of science demonstrating the safety aspect. I appreciate the challenges that something like this would prevent for staff, but I'm wondering if perhaps, Mr. Allen, your staff could comment on how a preferential policy might in fact be an option to look into, because if in fact the challenge is staff training and staff time based on the lack of information out there, a preferential policy option might in fact be a compromise that enables us to purchase GMO-free where available and where certain, without it being necessarily an absolute. I appreciate the fact that staff have actually been in touch with Duncan and learned about the implementation of their policy.